Welcome in, everyone, to our final episode of the 2024 season here in the state of Iowa on the IATC Exchange Zone podcast. And we have a really good show scheduled for tonight, our way too early rankings. We're also going to be joined by a special guest, Coach Brett Eagan of Cedar Falls, the state champions in Class 4A, and he'll join us here momentarily. Boys, welcome for the final time. Joel, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good.
Good. He's freshened up. He's ready to show his face. Went and got a haircut.
He's ready.
Kyle?
Good.
You look rested.
I did, yeah. I kind of felt that walking in the door. I'm like, I think I'm ready to go again. But I think we're both ready for basketball season.
Yes. I'm going to turn on my light for one more time here. I'm excited for this episode. Always one of our favorite episodes. And actually, fun fact, this is always the most listened to episode of the season. Now, it might not be listened to today or next week or next month, but over the next 9 months, as people gear up, especially in the summer for cross-country season, this episode gets a lot of attention. So, excited to take a look into next year.
It probably got a lot this fall, too, to show how wrong we were a year ago.
Yeah, that is true. So, if you could subscribe to our social media accounts, we would always appreciate that. We had a ton of subscriptions last week, and then got up to 200 followers on YouTube, and I got a lot of notifications with new Facebook followers, so appreciate that. Follow that, and there'll be a lot of stuff posted from the IATC this spring as track and field approaches. As always, you can reach out to us at our email address. Even though we're done for the year after tonight, we'd love to communicate in the off season. If you have any suggestions for next year, we can take those now, because we'll be gearing up for that throughout this off season and into the summer.
More Joel.
Ooh, okay. More Joel. All right. Next up, we've got the fall meeting. Seems like we've been announcing this for weeks, but it is finally here, November 17th. That is this Sunday. I have sent out a reminder to all head coaches. I still have boys track and field left tomorrow, but let's set a record for attendance. And this year, we've got an in-person option at Northwest, and we have a live stream. And that live stream join link is in that email. So head coaches, if you haven't checked your inbox for your email address, do so, and there's a lot of information in that. Good meeting this weekend scheduled. I always think it's really good to get involved as a head coach. Even before I got involved in leadership positions here, I always went to the meetings.
Yeah, last year was my first one that I attended, and it was good to get everybody in the room and how can we continue to make this sport better? Like, what changes do we need to make? Who needs to make them? And then just network, too, and talk with other coaches. And, of course, the Ponchero's Burrito Bowl.
That is the highlight. That is the highlight. I've got it scheduled for 80 people. So
All right.
I think last year I scheduled it for 60. I've just got a feeling we're going to have a big turnout. All right. Let's go to some thank yous. And we've been waiting for this for a long time. We have a lot of people to thank, but the first that we have down on our sheet is the timing companies. How about a hand for the timing companies this year? I mean, seriously, we've had some negative talk over the years on timing and how there's been a lot of mistakes. This year, it seems like our timers were on top of it. They're improving by the year. Their technology's getting better. And I tell you what, I thought it was a great year for timing.
I think so, too. A big piece of it might be James's site, and we're using that more. And to get that data in the website, it's got to be a certain way. So I think that could lead into our next thank you with James, but I agree. Timers do a great job getting everything set up, results out quickly. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, some of those companies that we wanted to highlight, and we might miss a few here, but Shannon Race Event Services, Cowder Results, Andy Cowder, AA Timing, Brett Carney, B&W Race Services, Cal Murdoch, of course, and he's going into the IATC Hall of Fame this next month, coming up in Ames. Dakota Timing, Dakota Results out of South Dakota, did a lot of meets in Northwest Iowa this year. Wyzetta with Josh Gerber, and Black Squirrel Timing out of Nebraska. They really cover all parts of our state. And then all of those schools that still try to do it by hand or with their own timing service, whether they use their Finish Links camera. Just a really good job this year, and it's a big part of the sport.
It is. And don't forget Susan with Cal. We know she does all the work.
And Michael Frank works for them too.
Yep,
So.
they do it. They're an awesome crew.
Next up, we want to thank Greg Blank. Greg is the man behind the scenes on the IATC website that is gathering all of those results every week or every night, and then putting them in that link where you click on it and then go to the result. And that is a very difficult job because you're pulling all different types of files and making it into one, and they're always up by like midnight. It's incredible how fast he works.
It's crazy. Like, you go to bed late at night, wake up early, like 5 in the morning, and it's on there. It's just crazy how fast they get it done. Greg, email me back. I'm waiting for a reply. Calling him out on here.
Oh, all right. Ranking chairs and all of your committee helpers. Every ranking chair has 8 contributors throughout the state, and we've already mentioned a few times this year the quality of our rankings was as best as they've ever been this year. I don't think we had hardly any hiccups and any real, why is this team here or why is this team not here? Just a really solid job, consistent job, I would say, from start to finish.
100%. I think it's gotten better every year since I've been a part of this. I think it showed when the sites came out, who went where, and the best teams, for the most part, made it to the state meet. I think as good as you could have had it.
Yeah, for sure. And we've been critical in years past about our own rankings. And now that I look back, I'm like, geez, we should not have done that. But that wasn't last year, but probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, we've been critical, and they've just gotten so much better. James Mills of CrossCountryRatings.com.
And he's got to
Bravo.
manually put all those in too. And same thing, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. He's got them, like, he's starting to put them in, and I'm like, you're crazy, dude. But he does an awesome job.
Yeah, and he has spent hundreds of hours doing this. And I was just texting with him the other day. He'll be at the meeting Sunday. And the cool thing about James is he listens to everyone and wants feedback, and then he'll make his site better off of that. So just a really good partnership that we formed there, and hopefully we can continue to grow that and see where that takes us. All of you contributors to the podcast that send emails every week, we've thanked you already this year, but can't say it enough. We had just really good, I call them correspondents, all over the state that were feeding us information, and it really, really helps us as we prepare every week.
Yeah, it does, because we can't look at everything. I mean, even last week, state meet, there was a big one we missed, and if you think about all the small little things, all 4 classes, we'd be lost without our helpers.
Yeah. So, and if you want to be a helper, send us an email, because we can't have enough of them. I mean, literally, I bet this year we probably had 10 consistent ones, and sometimes other people would chime in, but they are really, really helpful. And then last is just our whole viewing audience our listeners every week. Cross-country fans from everywhere around the state and bordering states. We've heard from people from Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, Missouri. But seriously, like, our audience grew. I told someone the other night on our board meeting, I think we probably tripled our coverage this year. A lot of that was because of the video, the work Christian and his dad, Thomas, did getting us set up for this. But seriously, awesome viewing audience.
And I kind of thought, too, at times we probably have 5 listeners in Northwest Iowa or Southeast Iowa. And all of a sudden we get all those emails, and it's like, oh, we got a lot more listeners up there than we think. So that does mean a lot.
Yeah. So thank you again, and feel free to reach out to us in the off season as we get ready for the 25 season to give us some more ideas, and we'll look forward to that. So with that being said, let's bring in our guest. No, we've got the quick question. We missed that. How could we miss that, Joel? Go ahead and take it away.
This week's quick question is, should the state cross-country meet stay in Fort Dodge?
Before we send that, we should thank Madison Melchert and Andy Untham because they were great to work with this year. And this question has nothing to do to bash them. They do a great job with the sport. They've grown it a lot here. But I think it's a fair question. I think it's a question that if I had to guess right now, I'm going to say it's going to be pretty close to 50-50. What do you guys think?
I would say there might even be a slight edge of against it too.
Okay. You'll give your answer later?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Let's go with that.
Can I do an ask?
Yes.
Quick. So for my job, I host the Iowa Corporate Games. This summer, Mount Mercy is adding football and potentially doing some renovations to their track. I am looking for a track in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area to our Corridor Corporate Games track and field meet. You can email me at wagnerk@bfschools.org if you can help me out. Thank you.
Cedar Rapids Prairie.
Yes, I'll take it.
All right. Let's go to our interview. And joining us now on the Exchange Zone podcast. Do we call it a podcast?
Think so.
What did you say to call it? A video podcast? Yep. Joining us now on the Exchange Zone, we'll just say that, is the head coach of the Class 4A state champions from Cedar Falls, Brett Eagan. Coach, welcome to the Exchange Zone.
Thanks for having me, Ben and Kyle. Really appreciate it. First off, just thanks for all you do to grow the sport and all that you do for promoting what the kids do each season.
Hey, appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Coach was on the show last year, and happy to have him back on. And, that leads me to my first question. Last year, great team, came up a little bit short. This year, state champions. What was the difference in 24 compared to 23 between last year's team and this year's team?
I've been thinking about that over the last couple of weeks, last week since the state meet, and I don't know that I have a honest answer for you at this point. Each team obviously is different year to year, and I think the commitment levels were very similar between the groups. And honestly, to win the state meet at the 4A level, when you have the caliber of a team like Dowling Catholic that sets the bar each season, I think it just took a little bit of luck and the guys believing that they could do it to take that next step at that meet.
When did you know that you had a shot? Was it after last season, after winter, start of summer, the day before the state meet? When did you kind of have that feeling, we can do this?
Having coached the group in track, I think I get to see the progression that they make from the cross season to track. And then over the course of the summer, you see some of that development. And it was probably at the start of the season that I had a pretty good idea that although most of the state probably didn't think we were capable, that this group could potentially get it done if we could stay healthy and get to the state meet as one group.
Nice. Let's talk about your leader maybe a little bit. Jaden's probably, you've had a lot of talented runners, but maybe none quite like Jaden. Can you tell him about him and what he means to your team?
Yeah, Jaden's just a unique runner just in terms of his background with coming into the high school level with the amount of training that he's done. And his coach that he had through his junior high years did a really good job of not overdoing it up until his freshman year. So he was very experienced racer and very committed. And he's just been pivotal in kind of setting that bar and expectation of what does it take to be at that elite level individually and kind of driving some of the team goals as well.
And so obviously he gets a ton of the headlines, well deserved. Who's the next guy or two guys on your team that really swung this season for you, that are your go-to guys, maybe leaders in the room? Who else for the Cedar Falls team do you got?
Yeah, definitely at the varsity level, John Ferguson was a key leader for the group. Just vocally, he was the guy that I looked to maybe when we had a tough practice, or a guy that I wanted to get the whole team heading in the right direction. He was the one that I was always leaning on to rally the troops and get us going in a positive manner. Some of the others in terms of like competitively, who I think probably helped us put us over the top, would be a couple of kids like Kieran DeGroot. I know you guys talk about the junior high state meet results. He's an interesting one because as an 8th grader, he finished 77th, and he was our 4th guy scoring for us at the state meet. He just made a huge progression over the course of his 4 years in the program. And that's something that I really focus on is just how, regardless of how good they are as freshmen, that with the increase in the mileage and the increase in the volume of the workouts, that they'll continue to make those progressions throughout the program, and that they can drive their success to whatever level that they want to achieve. Connor Martin would be another one that you could see making that big progression. He was also a kid that was 59th at the middle school state meet as an 8th grader, and he was our 3rd scorer at the state meet. Both Connor and Kieran battled some injuries throughout the season. So if you probably looked at the results over the course of the season, those two were up and down, sometimes not racing a meet, sometimes back further than what you maybe expected them to be. And you're just trying to manage their effort and health throughout the course of the season to get us to that finish line at the state meet.
Coach, a lot of us are teachers, not everyone, but they teach us in education school about differentiation and instruction. I got to think in your program, when you have a star runner like Jaden, who's been on our show and tells us his workouts, how do you differentiate and talk about the importance of being able to meet the needs of different levels of runners as you look at your team?
Yeah, it's huge. It's probably something that I didn't realize when I was coaching at a smaller program, just how important it is to make sure that you're setting up athletes for success in workouts. We had to switch this year to doing workouts on Monday with about half the team, and then we'd come back and do another workout on Tuesday with the other half of the team. And that was more just to keep both Coach Hartman and I myself sane throughout the course of the season, to have up to 8 different groups of potentially slightly different workouts or completely different workouts at the start of the season. It just made a big difference to give some of that individual attention to the groups that maybe wouldn't get that if they're all working out at the same time. So picking that up this year was very helpful to not just your top runners, but the kids that are maybe starting the season off without any mileage. And those are the ones that you really are proud of in terms of how much improvement they see over the course of the season.
last question for me is just, we're getting ready to go through our way too early rankings here towards the end of the program. Obviously, Cedar Falls will be ranked number 1 coming into the season. How do you get your guys to stay focused now that you've had a championship, and what's going to be your message here as you begin the track and field season and into summer training?
It's definitely going to be a new problem for us. And I think it's exciting for the guys just to be able to be the ones that people are chasing. I know that their mindset and work ethic isn't going to change just because of one race. And this group is really good about enjoying the process, that they see that improvement, not only meet to meet, but season to season. And I know that they're going to fall back on that over the course of the track season and as they look forward to the cross country season next year. I think most coaches in the state definitely enjoy the just somewhat goofiness of the cross country kids that they get to coach. And my group's no different. They definitely approach racing a little bit differently than I did as a student athlete. I was the one that was listening to music and trying to visualize my race 2 hours before. And the current group that I have, they just like to have a lot of fun leading up to the race, and they keep the mood at a really positive level. And it's different. It took a little bit to get used to. And I know that mentality is going to carry us forward into the track season and to next cross season as well.
Great. Well, hey, thanks for taking some time tonight and recapping what was a really impressive season for Cedar Falls. And thank you for your support of the show and coming back on. And we will probably catch up with you at some point next season.
Sounds good. Again, thanks for all you do.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
Our guests this year have just been incredible. From athletes to coaches of all class sizes, both genders. And that was a nice little wrap to what was really just an incredible season of guests this year.
I agree. And I think another thank you to you, like all these graphics, all that work that you put in to get the visuals ready. That's not just something you can show up at 6:15 on Sunday night and do.
That's what I'm doing when you walk in the door.
Correct. But I know a lot of work goes into that, so
we're going to train Joel how to make those next year. Pay him a little bit more money. All right, guys. It is time for signing day. And today, actually, what a nice little setup there. Today was the early signing day. And tonight here on the Exchange Zone, we want to recognize those that have signed already, and then there'll be more throughout the season. But before we get to this, it just makes you gathered all these, and you just go, the state's incredible. I mean, wait till you guys see just in the early signing period. And for track and field, as we've said on this episode or on this podcast, you can sign in May, and there will be kids that sign in May. But you've got 20 kids, and there's probably more that have already signed.
Yeah. And I'm sure
big-time schools.
I'm sure we've missed some, for sure. So if we did, we're sorry. We found what we could, especially with signing being 2-day. Like, you could have verbally committed 2 months ago, but a lot of things can change, especially with all the new NIL and NCAA bylaws. And that's the crappiest part, probably, is with how much Iowa distance running isn't improving and how much the landscape's going to change over the next couple of years with roster sizes and scholarship money and things like that. You know, you heard Annie Wiedemeyer talk about it last week. Noel Steinis.
Yeah, they're still uncommitted.
It's a completely different game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every coach has to take a different approach now. High school kids have to take a different approach. It's going to get messy. I think that might be why we didn't see more signings today. There's probably those top level kids are the ones making the decisions now, maybe more so than the general population. Is my guess it's moving it back, but who knows?
And I, as a track and field coach, I've always told our kids, both at Ames and now at Northwest, that unless it's just a for sure, use the whole spring. Maybe not to the end of the season, but March, April. I can't tell you. We've had 2 or 3 kids who just blew up in track, and they signed in May before the state meet. So it's not for everyone, but my point in saying this is if you're not signed or committed right now, it's no big deal. There's going to be so many opportunities now with the transfer portal. There's so much movement in all divisions up and down that there's going to be opportunities, and just be patient. So,
especially for the more standard recruit, let's call it,
yeah,
to take that chance on yourself.
Yep.
In that case, absolutely. There's that other hard piece of it too. I know this is more popular in, say, football, basketball. They give you a set date, and you got to make it by that date, or we're going on to somebody else. I'm not saying this with Jaden Merrick in Colorado, but as a junior, he can't technically sign, but.
And that's the thing that's really tricky. That's now trickling into track and field. So we've got a kid that is uncommitted right now, and she's on a deadline for 2 schools by the end of next week. And it's like, what do you do? If you don't commit, they're moving to the next girl. And it's a really stressful thing for kids. And that really didn't happen 5 years ago. Even with the big schools, you usually could take your time, go through the process. It's getting out of control, and it's really putting kids in a tough spot.
And that's when people complain about the transfer portal and all this. Here's a reason why sometimes it's okay is because kids get pressured into making these decisions, especially when it's financial based.
Yep.
What do you do?
I don't know.
It's a crazy different world.
And it really affects the parents, too.
And I think a lot of the blame gets put on the kids. Coaches are salesmen, especially at the college level. That's priority number 1 is recruiting. 2 is development.
Yeah. Well, shall we? All right, so we'll put them on the screen, and first up we've got Jada Bell. Now, we don't have track and field right now on the podcast, but we'll highlight, as we saw, any track or cross country, and this is Jada Bell of Johnston, truly one of the elite athletes in all of Iowa, and she will be competing for the Oregon State Beavers. So congratulations to Jada, really good long jumper, sprinter for the Dragons.
Are they going Mountain West with the Pac-12? I thought maybe.
They're independent right now. And now we have Jordan and Emily Myers of DCG. Are they together here?
They're separate. This one's Emily.
Okay, Emily's first. And Dort up in God's country, northwest Iowa. No?
It's the other way.
Oh, okay. So they're going up to Dort, and Dort's got a terrific distance program. They are really running well in NAIA level.
Oh, yeah. I think we have another Dort one coming, too.
So congratulations to the Myers sisters of DCG. All right. I feel like we should have, like, a song going. Is that possible?
I don't have anything.
Like Graduation by Vitamin C?
That or like...
You want to do the next couple?
We need the Monday Night Football, Boomer's fastest 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. Anna Sheriff, Waukee Northwest, going to South Dakota State. They're a nice Summit League program up there, Jackrabbits.
Yep. Good program, really good facilities up at South Dakota.
Big one here.
The Pokes.
Oklahoma State coming in to Iowa, stealing Kate Tuck from Nashua Plainfield.
Yeah. Really good sign there. We've talked about her. She was on our Iowa's top female recruits in our preseason poll, and this is going to be a good one. Really good talent, and Coach Smith comes up here and poaches one, and he usually tries to get one per year from up here. So,
Yeah, especially with how much tougher Big 12's getting with Colorado, BYU, Nora Peterson, another South Dakota State Jackrabbit, Alta Aurelia. Great season for her, runner-up finish.
really good.
This is another Dort one. I should have read. I can't read that far away. Go to the next one, and I'll look that one up again.
Jack Flory of Dowling Catholic and Carnegie Mellon. And I tell you what, this is a heck of a school, first of all, but a really good get for Carnegie Mellon. This is a very competitive Division III school, and they're very, very good. And Jack Flory will make a huge impact, I'm sure, in that program. Another just incredible season for Jack, and congratulations to him on a great career leading that Dowling Catholic team.
You can go back one now. Addison Liston.
Oh,
of
Unity Christian.
Going to Dort.
Awesome. And she had a breakout state meet. What did she get? I think we talked about her last week. I've got it right here. Addison Liston finished the state meet. I went to 3A. It's not 3A. It is 2A, and she was 4th overall. All right.
Owen Merritt.
Owen Merritt of
Going to
Des Moines
Creighton.
Roosevelt. Really good senior year and a great career for the Rough Rider from Des Moines Roosevelt. Talented kid. I think maybe you mentioned it, but I've said it too. Just an impressive-looking athlete. Tall, long, and can really run. And I'm excited to see what he does in track this year.
Me too. Tyler Sickerson, Ankeny sprinter.
Tyler Sickerson of Ankeny, the sprinter, didn't finish the season last year for the Hawks. Came up with an injury late in the year, but he can really scoot. He's fun to watch. I remember seeing him at the IATC indoor meet, running the 60 and the 200, and boy, he is impressive. Good get for you and I.
Absolutely. Alyssa Richmond,
Yeah.
Manson Northwest Webster, heading to Augustana,
Is that South Dakota?
Division II. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, good year for Alyssa.
The NSIC.
Jaden Merrick. Now, this is a early commit out to Colorado, and he'll still have another year left in Iowa high school. But congratulations to Jaden Merrick on his early commitment to the Buffaloes.
And not signed,
Not signed.
I don't believe.
Okay.
Unless he did it today and I missed it, but I don't know if I don't think you can. Colin Kessler of Winterset, heading to the Storm down
Really
in
good
Indianola.
career for them.
Yes, Colin had an awesome career, dinged up this year,
Mm-hmm.
really turned it on at the end, got healthy. He's going to have a big track season.
And Coach Heath Monk at Simpson has really done a good job building that distance program. They got Spencer Moon, who was a dozen-time All-American.
National champion.
National champion. It's tough competing in the Iowa Conference or the American Rivers now because Wartburg is so dominant in cross country.
Perfect score at the ARC.
It's unreal.
And a lot of Iowa kids.
Yeah.
It
But Simpson
really cool.
Simpson has honestly been 2 or 3 or 4 in that last 5 years. So good job for them.
Yeah, they lost a lot from last year, but
Yep.
You're exactly right.
You know, I have Joel do this one. Yep.
Oh, he's got the chipmunk. Man.
The chipmunk voice. All right, Tony Anania of Norwalk heading down to Kentucky to run in the Southeastern Conference for the Wildcats. I mean, that's a big sign right there.
SEC, they had a nice win over Duke last night.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So excited to see Tony. And is Tony in the chats tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, he is.
I was going to say, never mind. Just keep going.
All right. Joel's going to pull the chat up here in a little bit. Oh, we got a
double.
repeat. Double. All right. Drew Beeson of Ankeny is heading up to South Dakota to run for the Coyotes. And she's had a great career for Ankeny. And excited to see her track and field season. South Dakota has got a really good women's program.
Mm-hmm.
They've had several kids in the national meet, Olympic trials. Really good program. And then Asia Russell, Cedar Rapids Prairie, signed today with Indian Hills, the junior college power that Brent Ewing has put together in Ottumwa. Asia's really good. I've seen her run a lot. One of the top sprinters in our state. She's got a bright future ahead of her. That's a good pickup for Indian Hills. And Indian Hills, by the way, recruits the entire globe, literally. And so that's a great sign for them. And not just them, but a great place for her to go. This is really an elite program in all divisions.
Right. Look how many kids they send to the Division 1, 2, 3, wherever. Once
Them
they
in
go
Iowa
there.
Western, Iowa Central, really good schools.
Reese Brownlee going to Kansas State. Do you know their new coach at all?
I do.
Awesome.
Travis Geffert, Matt Clark is an Ames guy. They also brought Kip Jambrin, who retired at UCM, Central Missouri, as the head coach there. He's been there for a decade or so. He's now an assistant coach for the Wildcat staff. And Travis, he's going to make them really good. They've got a lot of positive momentum right now on the recruiting trail. Obviously, he's probably the top field event coach in the entire world. I mean, he had gold medalists here at this last Olympic, multiple medalists. I mean, big deal. Really good for Reese, because I think she'll fit that program nicely down there as they try to build it like a similar program that Travis came from at Arkansas. Jordan Brown going over to Nebraska to run for the Cornhuskers. I don't know a lot about their program. I think they have a new coach, at least in track. But a good Big Ten destination for Jordan, and I think this will be a good fit for her. It says Ackworth, Iowa. Is that close to Indianola?
Must be. I've never heard of it.
Jordan Brown out of Indianola High School.
Maddie Stevens, Dallas Center Grimes, going to Central College. That's
Yep.
their third signing
Off that team.
off that team.
Yep, and Maddie had a great season. Saw her run a few times, and she's impressive. I think it's a great pickup for Central. And Central, with Coach Dunham, they've had some really good runners, and their track coach has done a very nice job. Brandon Sternum, I think his name. He's done a really good job. They've had some good sprint relays, some good sprinters, and it's just a good track and field cross-country field down there in Pella. And that's it. All right.
All right. Nice job. If we missed you, we're sorry. But congratulations to all those that either signed, committed, and have made those decisions, and best of luck to those still looking. As you can see, there's lots of levels out there. Junior college, Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, you name it. If you want to compete at the next level, there's a school out there for you.
There sure is. All right. What do we got? We want to go to the chat, Joel? We're going to go to the chat. I can't see it tonight, so I'm excited to see who's in the chat. And then we'll get to the way too early rankings, and that's all we've got. It's going to be a faster episode tonight. as we wait, let's check on that poll result. There we go. All right. It's not coming up for me. Here we go. Yep, Joel, you're right. Did you say 60-40?
Something like that.
It's 58-42 right now. 69 votes are in, and that's good. Is there any way we can zoom in on that, or is that not possible? Welcome to the chat, everyone. Looks like we've got Anthony Anania. Of course, we've got Cooper Steeples. I wonder who Steve Prefontaine is.
I believe they are from the Grundy Center area.
Okay.
Big fans of Emerson Vokes.
Axel Beeden is on tonight. What do you see there, Joel? Anything funny tonight? Anything worthwhile?
Not so far.
Pretty quiet night.
Pretty quiet night. Well, they want to talk. Brady Sanger's on. Emerson is on tonight. Quentin's on. I saw your friend is on, Kyle. She had a nice comment, actually, a good recommendation. Madison Holton, yeah. It was early in the show because now I can't look.
There it is.
There it is. Suggestion for next year, get some of the behind-the-scene people like James Mills and some of the timing people on the podcast. That'd be cool. That'd be a good guess. Good idea. All right. Are we ready for Class 1A?
We doing NXR first?
Oh, NXR. Let's do that real quick. Yeah. All right, Kyle. Question for you. What stood out to you from this past weekend's Nike regional meet?
I think number one is just the number of kids from Iowa that went up. The different teams, individuals that just made the trip because this is a out-of-season meet. So this needs to be athlete-led to go up there, from my understanding at least. I did not go. I had my wife's grandma's 80th birthday party, so did not get to attend, but definitely had fear of missing out. But one was just the number of kids.
Oh my gosh.
In past years, it seemed like the really, really good teams were the only ones that went. You know, if you were a podium team in 4A. Other than that, it really wasn't on your radar.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to text Josh. I forgot to. So Josh is the owner of Wyzetta. And my Bloomer trivia, which we have coming up, was going to be how many kids ran in the regional meet. And I forgot to text and ask him. I'm sure we could find it probably, but I couldn't believe how many kids. So, I mean, I guess we start with Johnston. That has to be the story of the meet for the state of Iowa.
Automatic qualifier without Beasley.
Which that was our big mistake, everyone. Incredible what they've done the last couple weeks.
100%. And even to have 3 Iowa teams in the top 4 with PV right behind them, or not right behind, in third, Pella right behind PV, and we all know Brenneman didn't have her day. And then even Dubuque Senior finishing 11th.
Mm-hmm.
So just that many teams in the mix there. Normally it's one Iowa team might have an outside shot on the girls' side or the boys' side. So team-wise in the championship race, pretty impressive showing for the Iowa squads.
And the Dragoons were second, and Alex Woodley, I mean, the level that she raised herself after Roy Griak, where she really struggled, to be honest, up at Minneapolis. And I'm sure, she probably learned a lot from that race. But, I mean, to get that low in this race, or high, whichever way you want to go, to lead that Johnston crew that, by the way, will return everyone next year, is big for them. The Belmont Track Club is out of Pleasant Valley. They got out real slow. I don't know if it was just they were so far behind at the mile. I don't know if you saw that. Can you pull that team score at the mile, Joel? Is that possible? I mean, they were way back, and then they moved well, but I think they just ran out of distance. And then you're right, Pella didn't have the meet they probably wanted, but still, they're going to return a ton next year, and this experience will be valuable for them to try to get out to the national meet next year. But there you go, right there. Belmont Track Club was in the 11th at the mile mark. And, Joel, have you ran up there?
Yeah.
If you get out too slow, it's probably really hard to get caught up.
Yeah, it's good to get out kind of quick there, especially
I don't think you're.
down quickly.
Is he on?
Yeah, it's good to get out quickly because it kind of narrows down after the start there.
So you could get caught
Yeah.
in that little funnel. Yeah. So, and that I was emailing someone from the Pleasant Valley group, and it's just a long trip from Bettendorf, and same with Quentin in the boys race. I mean, that's got to be a 6+ hour drive. So tough trip for them from Eastern Iowa.
Yeah. I think you can go see the course the day before and do all that stuff. So
4,720 athletes crossed the finish line in NXR.
probably a record for them.
Now, for the timing company, who probably takes certain number of cents per athlete, probably, I don't know what they do now.
Not
Used
a
to
clue.
be 50, maybe it's now 80 cents an athlete. Just, I mean, nice little day. It might be, probably more at a race like that.
I think it was $200 a team or $40 a kid.
Jeez.
But yeah, other girls individually.
Mhm.
You talked about Woodley, Gall, Morehauser, Messerly, Sonderman, and Annie Wiedemeyer all in the top 40.
Great day for Iowa.
And then obviously your individual champion, Marissa Farabee,
Oh my gosh.
16:25 over Ruby Immels, former Iowa State coach's daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
I did not see that he was no longer at Boise State.
Where are they? What state are they in?
North Dakota now.
Bismarck?
Yep, she was the North Dakota state champion.
I mean, what can't Farabee do? I mean, we're going to see coming up here, she's going to go out and compete for a national championship, and she'll be right in the mix. And then she'll probably go to Foot Locker if she does both. And, I mean, who's to say she can't win or be in the top 5 of both of those?
We know she's the real deal. I can't remember where I saw it, but I didn't watch the live stream, but someone said the announcer said she was going too fast at the beginning.
Yeah. It was Paul Swingard, I think, right? Was he announcing? He's like the voice of track and field in the entire world. Paul Swingard, he used to be the voice of Hayward Field, and now NBC has hired him to call races. He calls all the Diamond League. How cool is that?
But Marissa proved him wrong. I think that's what it was. I can't remember where I saw that, but
And Ruth Dunham, she was like just outside that top 40. She had a great year too for Pella. And this Pella team will be ready next year for this challenge.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, this is going to be really fun to see if we might be able to push 2 through next year automatically. And it is worth noting, Pleasant Valley still has a chance to make it as an at-large. And I know they did file the paperwork, and they'll probably find out here soon. But they are in the mix, just not in one of the top 2 auto spots.
right. And I don't know how it works for Pella in 4th.
Yeah.
I do not know.
I don't know this for sure, but I don't think they are going or planning
Gotcha.
on going, but I don't know. They might be. I know they lost a girl previous to that state meet, and so I don't know if they're at full strength or not. To the boys, and
One or just open race quick.
yeah,
City High girls won the open race.
and they're young.
Dowling 6, and Mount Vernon Lisbon 11th. Nina Peterson, I believe, was the top individual from Iowa in 15th. And then Annika Larson of Ballard. 25th overall in all the open races combined. I think
Thousands
there
of
was 6
runners.
sections. So very cool for those schools in the open race. But yes, we can go to the boys now.
Not much to talk about team-wise here. Some
No.
good performances, just not to the level of what we saw in the female race.
Right. You want to start championship race?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buffalo Road, Dowling in 7th.
Yep.
And then Gilbert in 11th are your 2 top Iowa teams. So 2 in the top 11, still pretty cool. And then individually, we had 6th and 7th overall with Dunham and Zuber running absolutely outstanding because obviously girls, Marissa is the top girl. Ruby Emmels, very talented on the boys' side with Juan Gonzalez, Nebraska, Manny Putz of Wisconsin. Just an incredible field. So for Dunham and Zuber to go 6-7, absolutely incredible. I don't remember who told me, maybe that Dunham wasn't feeling the best at the state meet. I think this proves true by having this sort of performance. I believe it's top 5 individuals qualify, right?
Is that right? Is there an at-large for that too?
Yeah, not sure either, but still pretty cool. Decker, Liberty, 19th overall, and then Eli Nauman and Emerson Vokes
Mm-hmm.
in the championship races have pretty awesome days. So
I looked at these results, and Kanan Dunham, incredible. Can't wait to see his spring and next year because I just going to think he's going to keep getting better. He's improved every year, and this is a really big race for him. And then so fitting that he beats Zuber inside of that 1 second threshold in Iowa that I've mentioned. He doesn't lose to Iowa competition by more than a second.
the stat still stands true. Man.
So,
Very cool. Open race, we had Iowa teams, and this is it. It's harder than GRIAC maybe to dive into results because you have to do the club names. But Iowa teams in the open races combined go 1, 2, 4 with Waukee Northwest in first, Indianola second, and City High in fourth, and then Johnston in 10th.
did Indianola have their full lineup?
I believe so, yes. They scored 35.
Really?
I think
But they lost to Northwest?
they are 35 in their section.
Oh, this is combined.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Northwest had their best meet of the year, and it's unfortunate it didn't land at the state meet because they hadn't ran this well all season. I mean, that's impressive. I mean, there's got to be 100 teams there, probably,
And
if not
they
more.
crushed everybody. So, no,
And
yeah, you see
Is
it there.
that City High, Little Hawk, or not?
Yes, I believe so.
Man, yeah, too bad that they couldn't get it timed up for the state meet because that might have been a trophy there or a 4th or 5th for sure.
258 teams.
Wow. Yeah, and Zach Janulevitz had his best. What did he finish? He had a really good run and a great career for him and Northwest. So
Yeah, 8th there in the team one.
wow,
But, Jack Crossland of Johnston
that's
was
a
the
name
top
to
Iowan.
watch for next year.
Austin Soldwich, Waverly Shell Rock Senior, and Grady Oberding, Mount Vernon Lisbon Senior, along with Janulevitz, so your top Iowa boys. And then the Pella Dutch boys ran really well with Dunham running in the championship race.
Oh,
So they still had a really good day without him.
yeah, I'm excited to see Jack Crossland. Yeah, I think he's the next maybe breakthrough star here, just a sophomore for the Dragons. All right. Well, thanks, Kyle. That was really good. Let's go to our way too early rankings. In the halfway point, we'll do Bloomer trivia and reveal drill to the crowd. You got your polo ready? What do you got on there?
Just this.
Okay.
Well, I got my work shirt under this if you want to see that.
No, we don't need that. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to list the top, maybe some teams to watch, and run through 15 to 5 or 15 to 6, and then we'll do a little bit of discussion on 5 to 1. We're going to move through these quick.
All right. Perfect. So, yeah, you can see 15 on the screen. Let's see. One team that stands out, not on this list, that could be pretty good, Grandview Christian.
Mm-hmm.
2 individual qualifiers this year, 8 points from qualifying. They do lose their 3, 4, and 6, but they add in August Pausley, who was top 20 at the middle school state meet. Let's see. Linville Sully, they lose 3, 7, and 8. Big drop to their new 5, so we'll see if they can hang on and get back to the state meet. Trying to think. A lot just missed this top 15 of teams that were, just an example. AHSTW, 4th place team with their qualifier this year, team to keep an eye on. Riverside is another one. But 15 on down, you guys can read there. Sioux Central, Martinsdale St. Mary's, Starmont. This is a team that did not make the state meet this year. They returned solid 3, 1 through 3 with Lauren Krogman. They need to find 2 more people. If they can find 2...
Did they have a full team this year?
I believe so, yes. But they need... I think they were not going to have a 5. But anyway, they add in Abigail Brown, Carly Roseberg, 1349, 1413 at the junior high state meet. I think they get to Fort Dodge. Pleasantville, the team that was really high on a year ago that had like 3 individual qualifiers and nobody else on the team. They were 4th at their qualifier, returned their top 5, middle school state champs, but 3 of those 4 were 7th graders. So they're still probably a year away. They do get one of those pieces. 11th, Pekin, also a team that did not qualify this year, returning everyone after being 12 points from qualifying. Regina, another team that didn't qualify, 3rd at their qualifier, just 5 points out.
Oh, the leg cramp.
Uh-oh. Call the athletic trainer. 9, Wapsie Valley. 8, Panorama. 7, this one might shock you a little bit, Earlham, losing their
Harger.
1 and 3. They're a deep team, so they're one that, a lot of these other teams lose a couple kids, they're hurting. Earlham's one that they're still going to be pretty dang good. 6, Cascade. 5, Ridgeview. They return everyone from a team that was 7 points at the qualifier. They were only 7 points back at their qualifier from the team that got 6 at state. Pretty crazy. Ridgeview. Number 4, Southwind, returning their top 5. 3, English Valleys, returning everybody. Number 2, Trainer. They're losing their 5 and 6, but I think they're a pretty good. They're still good 1 through 5. Excuse me. Adding in Lily Miller, 1252, top 10 at the junior high state meet, and my number 1A team on the girls' side, Madrid. They do lose Mila Grothus at number 4, but they're bringing in Michaela Mullenbach and Cheris Peaslery to jump right in and I think defend their state title.
They didn't win.
Or sorry, be new state champions. Earlham was champions.
I like it. I almost put a lock symbol on Madrid when I made the graphic. They're very close for a lock. But Trainer, I think, I kept the lock off because of Trainer. Trainer's going to be pretty tough.
It's hard to lock up 1A a year out, or just so much can happen.
Yep.
There's a lot more variability at 1A, I think.
All right, let's go to the 1A boys.
All right, some teams just outside We have Woodbine, ACGC. Both have been state qualifying teams consistently the last few years. We're going to see if they can still hang on and get to the state meet. IKM Manning, Louisa Muscatine, and East Marshall, along with Beckman Catholic. Our team's just sitting out the outside. 15, I got Springville. 14, St. Edmund. 13, the Baxter Bolts. They're getting Richardson back this year. They're losing their 1-6, but I think they'll find enough firepower to get there. 12, North Butler. Third at their qualifier. They do lose their number 4, but I think they'll add some pieces to get back to the state meet. Number 10, Danville. 9, Linville Sully.
You skipped 11 at Nottoway Valley.
Oh, man. I know. That's a team we have not talked about in a long time.
Long time.
Sorry, bad at math here. Fourth at their qualifier. Return everybody. Very solid young team. They do need some more depth, but I expect Nottoway Valley to be in Fort Dodge next year. 10, Danville. 9, Linville Sully. 8, Columbus Community. 7, Sioux Central. 6, Ogden. Diving into the top 5, Van Buren, returning everybody but number 7. They're a very young, solid team. Look for them to be in the top 5 next year. Number 4, Earlham. They'll lose 5, 7, and 8. It's a decent drop to that new number 5, but they do get Andrew Van Zee and Coulter Lenz, who's going to help out Earlham stay in that top 5 conversation. 3, Riverside, returning everyone and adding Trig Drahota. 12-22 at the middle school state meet. My runner-up, I switched it. I'm sorry. I switched it. I forgot
Okay.
you made graphics.
So you got Ankeny Christian 2.
I have Ankeny Christian at 2.
Okay.
They do lose their 5, adding in Brock Fiala. 11-42 at the junior high state meet. And then I think defending their title is Lake Mills. They do
A
lose.
three-peat.
They do lose their number 3, but they're a deep team. I know their 1 through 3 has been their core. I think they still got enough. Ankeny Christian's going to make it a lot closer this year, but I do think it's still Lake Mills.
Well, and at this time last year, Newt Rogney wasn't even at Lake Mills, right? Wasn't that the principal coach told us that they had to move in?
Hey, that's what it was.
The superintendent or something, principal, son. So, yeah, a lot can change. But that's good work there, Kyle. I'm sure you have, like, number 40, if anyone wants to know.
Do you want to know?
Just give us, like, number 40.
No, hang on a second.
Look at the dedication, folks,
You
of
want-
this guy.
Do you want to take a guess how many 1A boys
46.
teams I ranked? Only 43.
Who's your lowest ranked team?
Clayton Ridge at 43rd. Individually, Landon Thayer, Logan Magnolia, 1050
Yeah.
at the junior high state meet. See if I missed any on the girls' side. I did. 2 on the girls' side. Ava Witt, St. Ansgar, 1205, and Josie Deers, Edgewood Colesburg,
Okay.
1210.
Good work. Let's go to 2A on the girls' side. Oh, my gosh. We have a lock. What in the world? Did that sneak on there?
Did you do that?
I sure did. Mark it down, Joel. We've got our first lock of the year. Are you in on it?
Oh, man.
You need to hear it first.
Yeah.
'Kay.
No, yeah, sure. Let's do that first before I say something dumb.
Teams to watch. You've got the Roland Store in Norse, Osage, Applington, Parkersburg. That's a name we haven't said on the Exchange Zone. Those are my teams to watch. At number 15, we've got Denver, state qualifier from this past year. Number 14, Sumner Fred. At 13, the Tipton Tigers without Noel Steinis. And Laura Owen graduated as well. At 12, you've got Cherokee, Washington. At 11 is Crestwood. 10, Pella Christian. They're going to return all 7, Kyle. This is a maybe too low-ranked team here. We'll see what they can do next year. Number 9, Wakan. Number 8, is it Wakan or Walk-On?
The second way you said it.
A walk-on?
Sure.
What do you think, Judge?
Walk on.
Walk-on? Okay.
That's how I say it.
Hudson.
Should have
Is
asked Eagan. That's where he's from.
Yeah, we should have. Hudson is the 8th ranked in my way too early rankings in Class 2A. They're going to return a lot. Monticello, folks, a non-qualifier last year, our first non-qualifier on the list. And Monticello, Leah Kohler graduates, but Peyton Reese is back. And watch out for Mary Grace Lyons, the middle school state champion out of Monticello. She'll join this group. That's a dangerous team there at number 7. Unity Christian. Liston's gone. Katie Young is back. And it's a team that's got a lot of depth, so I think they'll be in good shape next year. Van Meter. I didn't know where to go with Van Meter, Kyle. They're going to return Streck and McCann. Streck, the runner-up in 2A, so the top returner coming back. But they need to find some more pieces, and they might.
That's a
So-
program that if there's a couple on the list, obviously Mid-Prairie's one of them, Van Meter would be probably the second one where I'd say they can find kids
Yeah.
up and down their lineup to do that.
At number 4, the PCM Mustangs. And if you remember, Phyllis on Twitter,
Peter, yep.
Phyllis Peter, I believe she's a PCM person.
Yep.
Maybe she's a coach or just a fan. But this is a really good team. They're going to return their top 4. All 4 of those ladies were in the top 65 at the state meet, and they've got a lot back for PCM. Forest City, number 3, 9th last year. They'll lose Bethany Warren, but they return everyone and add 4 of the top 15 in the 2A middle school meet. A common thread with Forest City boys and girls. They're building this program like a large school program. They have a ton of depth, and they're building more depth in both genders. And I want to see how that's going to play out next year, because it's just blown up in 2 years, their rise here. Now, the state meet didn't go the way they wanted it probably, but Kyle, they've got a lot back, and I'm anxious to see how this goes. But I think they could get 2nd or 3rd next year.
Wow.
Albia, number 2, Southeast Iowa. What was that? Didn't sound good. But Albia, they were 8th this past season. They'll return McKenna Montgomery, who is 3rd. They'll return their number 2, 3, and 5. Paige Popson's back. And they'll add Maddie Montgomery. We might have sisters. And she was 2nd at the middle school state meet. So this is going to be a good Albia Blue Demon team.
All right.
And then at number 1, with a lock symbol from Ben Dewey, we'll see if Kyle jumps on board. The defending champs, looks like they could string some more together. If you remember, folks, they won 5 in a row from 2017 to 2021. They returned their top 4 runners. 3 of them were on the deck. Mid-Prairie with a lock for me. Are you going to lock them up now, or do you want to wait till the first episode next year?
And you said Forest City was the junior high state champs?
They were 2nd. Tipton was the state champs. But I think they had some 7th graders in there.
Gotcha. Okay. Put the lock on it.
Cha-ching. Joel will lock him up. He'll do whatever. You locking him, Joel?
I'll lock him.
Okay. 3 for 3. I swear, next year we're going to get a poster board that has all of our locks. We got to get that done.
But we might not be here.
Yeah, we might. If anyone out there has like a rental space, we can move this exchange zone to in the central Iowa area, well, the Des Moines area, let us know. All right, 2A boys, and then we've got Bloomer Trivia. You've got 15 minutes. Joel's on a timer tonight.
Uh-oh.
You got a date?
Got to go to work.
Where do you work?
Work at UPS.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
You like that?
love it.
Yeah. It's a good job. Okay.
You're 2A boys.
Yeah. All righty, here we go. 2A boys, let's do it. We'll start with some teams to watch, and this is a team I know for a fact I've never said on the exchange zone. Alburnett.
All right. Good one.
Van Meter, Garner, Hayfield, Ventura, and Roland Story again. At number 15, we've got Spirit Lake. Hey, by the way, this is a class and gender where it is depleted with graduates. And graduates that like really affect the teams. So a lot of teams are losing their 1 and 2 or their 1 and 3. So there's going to be a lot of turnover here in Class 2A. Spirit Lake at 15 and Okoboji at 14. Anamosa at 13. They're going to add another really good young runner to the lineup, but they do lose their top 2. Watch out for that name, Nolan Weirs, next year, one of the top freshmen. Sheldon at 12. Tipton at 11. Monticello, a non-qualifier last year, our first non-qualifier on the board, in at number 10. God, I can't get ahead of myself here, Ben. 9, Pella Christian. Pella Christian set to have a pretty good year down there. Their boys return a lot of their lineup. Number 8, Mediapolis, another non-qualifier, Owen Schmigdal. Remember that name, just a sophomore this year. They returned their whole lineup. They were 10 points off qualifying out of the Pella region in Class 2A. I think this is a scary Mediapolis team. Unity Christian at 7. Wakan, there it is again, Wakan at 6. They lose Riesinger, but they've got more back in that lineup. Then in the top 5, we've got Vinton Schellsburg. How about that? Another non-qualifier. Remember, I was a big Vinton Schellsburg fan a couple years ago. They're going to be back. Alex Torres is back. Zach Dickinson is back. In fact, their whole lineup is back from a team that was just outside of making it. Olwine, the defending champs, at 4. They'll lose Connell Sauser and Shank, but they've got Keyshawn Williams back and most of their scoring lineup from that state championship team. But like I said, those 2 guys are huge losses for Olwine, so they'll need to find some more depth there. At number 4 is Forest City. No, Olwine is 4. Forest City, did I say that right? Is 3. Forest City, they return their entire lineup. Now, this is a team that finished 10th. They were ranked number 1 for 2 straight weeks. Another year of development for that pack that they have, even if they just improve by 15, 20 seconds each, that's a team that could win a state title next year in Forest City. Number 2, the Sheraton Chargers. 5th a year ago. All 5 runners are coming back next year for Sheraton. Brent Crabb, Lucas Anderson, Cy Stewart. This is a team with another year of development under Coach Horton that I think this is a team that can win a state title as well. This is a class that'll be wide open, I think, again. And then the number 1 preseason team for me, Kyle, 4th last year, they'll return Mathis, Gomez, and Knobloch. The 3 big pieces for that Denver squad. They'll only lose number 4, and oh, by the way, they'll have the middle school state team champions joining this team. The Denver Cyclones, my preseason number 1 for 25.
Nice. I think that's back-to-back years they won middle school.
With Jesse Gomez.
Nice. Good research there. That's a tough class.
Really tough, especially with how equal they were this year. And then you pull out a lot of teams 1, 2, or 3. But I really like those top 3 teams right there. I think there might be some separation next year.
I think so too. Maybe Vinton Shellsburg in that conversation, but
Mhm.
and it wasn't just these 15 or the state meet teams that lost a lot. There was a lot of teams that were close
Mhm.
that also lost a lot. So
Yeah.
the you got 9 months to change that, I guess.
Yep. And track will be a part of it.
Mhm.
All right, Bloomer Trivia. We'll take a break from the rankings. Go ahead, Joel.
The trivia question is, with Johnston making the national meet this year, who was the last Iowa team to qualify?
Wow.
If you have won a hat, do not put anything in the chat.
Cooper Steeples said that Bondiu got 78th at the
They did.
Nike meet. Oh.
He set a lifetime PR this at NXR. 4 seconds from breaking 18.
We had an error, and we have our first answer. Before that, we have an error that I want to call out. Newt from Lake Mills was actually at the school the last 3 years. I thought she told it. Oh, I think he moved. The dad was a principal or something. Moved 3 years ago,
Oh, okay.
not last year. Go ahead, Joel. We got the answer.
We got the answer. Kyle Johnson with Dowling.
How come he said oops?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe he already won? I don't think so.
I don't think he won.
I don't think so. It is Dowling Catholic.
Yeah.
Katie Flood, right? Or Betsy
Yeah.
Flood.
I wonder if people are putting it in thinking the boys' team had made it
Oh.
at some point. We didn't specify gender,
Well,
but still, got the school.
did the Dowling boys make it?
They almost made it last year. They got third at NXR.
Oh, it's Brady. He won a few weeks ago. So we'll go to the next one. Who's Brady? We'll have to get some clarification here. But Jack Reek has not won. So maybe we go with Jack Reek. We'll let them figure it out. Let's go to 3A.
You guys can
Hey,
arm
Joel,
wrestle
come on
for it.
out here. You better get your stuff and I don't want to make you late for work, but guys, Coach Cogdale says that Dowling boys have made it previously.
Here, you can have my chair.
I'll sit down for a little bit here.
So this, everyone, is Judge Joel.
Yeah, how you guys doing?
And Joel, seriously, though, we want to thank you for your hard work this year. Joel did a great job with helping us in the back, and I hope you are interested in next year growing your role.
Yep.
He's got a great mind, and we're excited for the future. So, but Joel figured out the screen sharing and all the stuff, and we really appreciate it.
Anytime.
So, Judge Joel.
We'll get the shirts made.
Yep. And by the way, Joel got a haircut for that appearance.
Just for coming on.
I don't know, guys. You guys need to solve who gets this hat. We've got an argument going now in the chat.
We'll figure it out by the end.
Well, yeah. All right. So, you can just go whenever, Joel. Well,
You do got to wait. It's just a
oh,
couple
yes,
minutes.
he does. Yeah, you got to go. Yep. Wait, we got to call. Yeah, I know where you're going with it.
Perfect. I think. I think. Yep.
Yep.
All right. He knows.
Here we go.
All right. Well, on to 3A girls.
He's got to be here to make a comment about it.
All right. Well, I'll fly through quick. In this class, there's a lot of teams that are not perennial powers, but perennial or consistently at the state meet. Ballard, Clear Lake, ADM, Gilbert, all lose quite a bit. So we need to see what those teams have.
And we got a lock on the screen.
I see that already.
Okay.
I'll join you. But those teams all lose a lot. Where's my one here? One cool one, Marion, adding in Emerson Dabrowski, 1238. So those teams right now are sitting outside my top 15. Again, Ballard, Clear Lake, ADM, Washington, Gilbert, CPU, Marion, and Glenwood, excuse me. But going down my list so we can get to Joel's highlight of the night here. Number 15, Dubuque Waller. They only lose number 5, and it's not a major drop to 6. They were only 21 points from qualifying this year. Heelan, and we're getting a lot of new teams, according to this, to the state meet this year, or in 2025. Heelan, returning everyone 5th at their qualifier. Also have some solid 7th graders coming. Number 13, Williamsburg. They do lose number 4. They had a very nice pack, though, 4 through 7, only 12 points from qualifying. 12, MOC Floyd Valley. Number 11, we need some shirts made.
It's Boone.
We need a Boone uniform in the background next year.
I'll wear it.
He's going to wear All right. Number 11.
I wish we could just play that on repeat. Okay, honestly, did you really mean to pick Boone?
No, I did not. No, it was an honest mistake. Yeah, it was meant to be Boone.
Okay.
We probably put him on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, but I said there's 5 teams that could win the Raccoon River, and I listed all 5, and Boone was not in that. All right, you better get going. Thank you, Joel.
Nice work, Joel, this year. But Boone, everyone returns. They got a 1941 girl, 2110, and 2227. Here's the big stat. At the Raccoon River Conference, they go 1, 2, 4, 9, 12. All, or 4 of them, under 13 minutes on a tough winter set course. Look out for Boone this year.
Boone could be underranked at 11.
Very well could be. Joel says yes. I saw it. Number 10, Fort Madison. 9, North Polk. Fort Madison, 1 point away from qualifying this year and return everyone. 9, North Polk. 8, Decorah. That could change too if they get Amelia Rowe back.
Mm-hmm.
Curious to see track season. If they get her back. 7, Solon. 6, Harlan. My top 5, Winterset.
How many of those top 4 come back for Winterset?
All of them.
Wow.
They only lose number 7.
Man.
Again, they weren't a super deep team. I don't think they're bringing in a ton. Now their coach does a great job in the halls finding kids and getting them out, and that's why they've had the last couple of years that they've had. What were they this year? They were 5th this year, right? Messed up that one before the state meet.
But these teams are legit in front. They probably are 5th.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. But man, yeah, Winterset's going to be good next year. Number 4, Mount Vernon Lisbon, only lose their number 6. They're already a deep team, have some solid depth, and adding in Tori Johnson. Sioux Center, runner-ups this year. I think they'll come into the season ranked 3rd. Only lose their 6 and 7, so all their top 5 coming back. Des Moines Christian up at number
really
2. They'll return their top 5, including Elise Erzin, whose season ended early due to injury. A deep team. Also, the junior high state champs. Hallie Roberts, 11:47, and Audrey Martinez-Precht, 12:17. Might be tough for them to crack the lineup. But Des Moines Christian at number 2. And then Pella only losing number 7. It says, very deep team, lock them up.
Nothing more to say.
And they have some good 7th graders coming soon, but definitely lock for Pella. We'll see what Des Moines Christian can do over the next 9 months. It's going to take a lot for any one of these teams to upset the Pella girls.
Yeah, and I like those picks. All righty, 3A boys. We got another lock.
All right. Good deal here.
It doesn't take. I mean, we shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say it.
We'll keep moving. Just outside the list, I got Ballard, Storm Lake, MOC Floyd Valley, Cedar Rapids Xavier, and Assumption. Solon, probably the next team out. Carlisle,
As you keep going.
always a deep team. I don't even want to know what I ranked in 3A. You don't want to know either. Top 15 here. Number 15, they were fourth at their qualifier this year, losing number 2 from that team. A lot of good young guys on that team. The Nevada Cubs. 14, Fort Madison. They were 25 points from qualifying. I think they were fifth at our qualifier. They'll lose their 2 and 5, but they're also getting Nolan Guzman back. He was their number 4 to start the year. I think a season-ending injury, so he'll be back next year. Also bringing in 2 sub-12 runners in Kevin Denny and Logan McClure. Decorah, we know how good they are. They lose a lot, which is probably why they dropped as far down as they have, but also middle school state champs. Clear Creek Amana, 12. Des Moines Christian, 11. This one, you might have a better feel than me, but they lose a lot. 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. They are bringing in Luke McCormick
He is fast.
and 2 other sub-11 gentlemen. So might take them a year to get to the swing of things with the 5K, but you never know. These kids are grasping it faster and faster each year, I think. 10, Williamsburg. They return everybody from a very tough site. Clear Lake boys. This is probably the highest non-ranked or non-qualifying team from last year. Returning everyone but 7. Just a very young team. Also at a very tough site. Clear Creek Amana, Decorah, Mount Vernon, Lisbon. Just a tough to qualify out of that site. 8, I got Bondurant Farrar. 7, ADM. 6, Mount Vernon, Lisbon. And top 5, Washington. They'll lose number 1 and 7, but I still think they can hold on to be a top 5 team. Sioux Center, young team. Only one upperclassman. He was their number 3. Everyone else returns. A young team that I think can make a lot of improvements this year. Washington does add Jack Shepard, 6th at the junior high state meet. And then Drew Cundy. I found that he ran 12:05 for Sioux Center early in the season, so he's probably a sub-12 guy. Grinnell loses their number 4, but they had a pretty deep JV team. Their top, they do not add a lot of depth, but I think Grinnell is another team with enough pieces to hang on to be in that top 5 conversation. Number 2, Pella, losing their 3, 6, and 7. Junior high, 4th place middle school state meet was Xander Canis, 11-17. And then like you, I have Gilbert number 1, losing number 4 and number 7. Very solid deep team, but adding in the junior high runner-up, Zach Stevermeyer, 12:55. 10:55. Gilbert, again, I think you're right. They deserve the lock next to their name. They're going to be tough to beat. There are some programs here that historically we could see improvement over the next 9 months and potentially give them a run. You never know what can happen, but right now Gilbert is a heavy favorite.
Yeah, and just that top 3 of theirs. I mean, as long as they continue to, well, even if they don't get any better, they put that top 3 inside the top 8 in every meet. And in the big or in the small meets, they usually go 1, 2, 4 or 2, 3, 4. Just tough to beat when you have 3 in the top 8.
Very tough.
Yeah. All right, good work there, Kyle. Your work is done for the season.
All right, see ya.
See ya. All right, let's go to 4A. Our final class. No locks in this one. Although, Johnson, I was very close. But it's almost unheard of to lock someone in 4A. There's just so much going on, and there's so much depth that can develop. And I still think it's open. So the girls in 4A. Let me get my sheet here. Teams to watch: Southeast Polk, West Des Moines Valley, Mason City, and Iowa City West, and also Iowa City Liberty. At number 15, a team on the girls' side that has not been on the podcast very much, Norwalk. They're going to add some middle schoolers, and they've got a lot of their team back from last year. At 14, Des Moines Roosevelt. 13, Cedar Rapids Prairie. At number 12, we have Linn-Mar. At 11, Centennial. Linn-Mar returns a lot from last year. Centennial and Ankeny side by side at 11 and 10. Both lose some key people, but both have good programs, and Centennial had a good middle school team as well. At number 9, we have Dallas Center Grimes, led by Piper Messerly, the individual state champion. At number 8, Dowling Catholic. This is a non-qualifier from last year. They lose a couple, but I have a sneaky suspicion that they might be pretty good next year with the blink of an eye.
It's got some inside scoop.
Maybe. Number 7, Waukee, returning everyone. Coach Schmitz's team, I think, can be really good. They battled a lot of sickness this year, and just some weird things happened to their team. I think this is going to be a big bounce-back year for Waukee. Number 6, Dubuque Senior. Scary, Kyle, to put them at 6 because they do lose some key pieces there, but Chesterman's back. And they just do such a good job of developing.
Both Dubuque schools do.
Yep, they do.
Or all three. Wahlert too.
At 5, you have Cedar Falls, led by Charlie Gall. This Cedar Falls team returns 3 of their top 5, and they also will add middle school 4th place finisher Shay Meyer, and they were 6th last year. At number 4, you've got City High, the Little Hawks. They'll return 3 of their top 5, led by Abigail Burns. They're a deep team. I think this is going to be a pretty good City High team next year. I do think, this is a big statement here, I do think these 3 teams here at the end could have some separation from the rest of the field. Although I think Cedar Falls, with their youth, you got Tom Lanovich. There's another freshman in there. We'll see how they develop. They might join these 3. But these 3 are going to be really good. Northwest, starting there at number 3, came up short of your expectations this year, and I think probably their team's expectations. But they're going to return their top 4, likely get a healthy Emmy Danny next year, and they're going to add maybe one of the best middle school teams we've seen since we've been doing this podcast. They rolled in 4A this year, never lost a meet, and nobody was close to them. So this is a team that's going to have a ton of depth, and that'll include runner-up at the state meet Laney Sundet and the 3rd place finisher Emerson Steubenbeck, adding to this already very talented Northwest team. At number 2, you have Pleasant Valley. They'll return 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but no Grace Bolin, no Ani Wiedemeyer. But they'll add the middle school state champ in Sarah Fode, and watch out for that name. She's really good. I saw her run in person at that middle school state meet. And that's the defending champs right there. And number 1, Johnston. How about this, Kyle? Their top 8 return next year, led by Woodley, Beasley, who we forgot about not running at the state meet, Crabb, Wharton, All four of those ladies could be on the deck next year for Johnston. Those three teams, I think, have immense talent next year, led by Johnston.
If PV didn't add Fode, would you put a lock by Johnston?
Probably, because that PV 3, 4, and 5, they're really good.
Mhm.
I mean, they're right in the mix with Johnston's pack usually. Yeah, we don't know what this Fode will do. I mean, if she comes in and runs, like Charlie Gall did last year, you pretty much have the same team minus one of those two. But they have so much depth.
Yep.
So I think Johnston was really close to a lock. You want to lock him up?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
We're not going to talk. All right. Christian, we're ready for the final one. The boys. Teams to watch: Davenport Central, West Des Moines Valley, Liberty, Iowa City West, and Ankeny. We'll start with 15 with Bettendorf, and they will return A.J. What is it? I'm blanking on his last name.
Wiley.
A.J. Wiley. And he was 11th in the 4A meet. Centennial at 14, Linn-Mar at 13, Johnston at 12, Pleasant Valley at 11, a non-qualifier last year. Cedar Rapids Kennedy, our highest non-qualifier. Adam Gray and Slater Buckheister. By the way, Slater Buckheister finished 4th at the state meet. Gray was 12th. So you got 2 All-Staters back for Kennedy. I think they might be a sneaky low team there that could have a big season. Dubuque Hempstead at 9. Northwest at 8. Watch out for the name Aiden Gabrielson of Northwest, a 154 half-miler. He really came on late in the year for the Wolves and ended up being their number 2 runner. He'll be back next year. Indianola and Norwalk at 7. Is that 7 and 6?
Yep.
Indianola, if they can stay healthy, they were right up there in the top 5 there at the start of the year, most of this season, until they didn't have their lineup. So Norwalk as well, very good program. DCG in there at number 5. No Arbuckle and Ibeling, but they return a lot. And they also had the JV Little Hawkeye Conference Championship team. Deep team there. At number 4, you've got the Prairie Hawks of Cedar Rapids. They lose all Red and Lee, but Kyle Johnson, Cole Corrales, they're all back for Prairie. Prairie's one of those teams, Kyle, similar to Dubuque Senior boys. It just seems like it doesn't really matter who graduates. They could just surprise you every year. Number 3, Dowling Catholic. They are going to have to replace Flory and Owen Wolf. They lose actually 4 of their top 6. But Charlie Deek is back. Nick Paulson's back. Those are guys that had great state meets. And they had the 9th and 10th grade CIML championship team. So I think they'll reload pretty well. City High at 2. 6 of their 7 are back. Guys like Linus McRoberts, Maxwell McDowell. Deep program. You want to talk about, we mentioned the depth of the Northwest girls. City High boys swept the 9-10 and the JV MVC Super Conference meet, and they have 6 of 7 back on their varsity team. How about that for a stat? That's some serious depth.
Lock them up for a podium finish.
And that is why I didn't lock Cedar Falls up, because I think Cedar Falls has a chance to run away with this. But then you peel it back and you see City High ran close to them a couple times this year, and most of those guys are back. So then I was like, there's no lock here either.
No, I don't think you can.
Cedar Falls, the number 1 ranked team coming in for us. Top 2 are back, Merrick and Dominic Williams. Number 5 and 6 are back as well. Loads of depth here. They've got great lower levels. And Jeremy Gall possibly a brother, I'm assuming, of Charlie. 10-17 in a 2-mile on grass at Centennial. The middle school state champion will join this Cedar Falls lineup. So there you go. What do you think there? You like City High at 1 or Cedar Falls?
Ooh, that's a good question. Toss up. Yeah, I think right now I'd probably still lean Cedar Falls, but not by much. I think the glaring thing that stands out is Dowling at 3. Have we ever not had Dowling in the top 2?
Usually 1 or 2.
They've podiumed, was it 15 of 16 in a row?
Something like that.
Is there a real shot?
I think they'll be solidly at 3rd. I do think, as of right now, and this will probably change, I think City High and Cedar Falls and City High are 1 and 2, like with a nice little cushion there at 3. But you've got Tim Ives, you've got this program. You got to expect Dowling to get their name in the mix at least.
Right. And they might not be there in August, but they will be there by the time you get to the end of October.
So there you go.
All right. Nice work.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun class, both genders. All righty, that brings us to the end. Okay, so we've got to settle here. Here's the deal. Nobody picked, or they said have me pick who the winner is on the question. So here's what we'll do. We've got Jack. Just all these guys that have been on the show, send me your address. We'll send you a hat. All these kids here. Don't you think that's fair?
First 5 to email, get a hat.
First 5 to email. There we go. We'll send out 5 hats. All right. Let's take a look at the Twitter poll one more time. We'll see if Judge Joel was right with his prediction of 60-40. And it's 63-37.
Jeez.
Keep it at Fort Dodge. 37 say no. You know, that surprised me. I thought there'd be more the other way, actually.
No comments on it?
No.
All right.
Nope.
Didn't know if because you got to be able to provide a reason or another location. You can't just say we should move it from Fort Dodge without having somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
It's like if you watch ESPN and those guys say, like, 22 different teams are going to make the playoffs. Well, 22 teams can't make the playoffs. Like, you got to have a cutoff.
So are you saying it was a bad question?
No. I'm just saying for people out there that do want to move
They
it.
needed another. Oh, you want them to provide.
Right, yeah.
I got you.
If you want it moved Sunday on the 17th, you can bring that feedback
To our meeting.
to the meeting
Yeah.
and express your opinions. That's the best way to get something done. If you want your voice heard, either be there or be on the live stream. It's very good discussion. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we'll see. But anyways, I would probably say keep it there and see how things progress here. So, all righty. Well, hard to believe we've hit the finish line. It's been a great season. Really has been a lot of fun. Kyle, you've done a great job as always. I should have presented you a gift at this point in time.
You paid me. I'm good.
Yeah. So, but really has been a lot of fun and a joy to do every week. And we thank everyone. Christian, do you want to come out and show yourself?
Sure.
All right. We got another one that we've got to introduce. So the Christian's our producer. He's just coming behind. There he is. You're not in there. You can't even see your head.
I'm good.
Okay, he's good. Yeah, Christian's done a great job for us and getting this thing up and running and making improvements every week. And shout out to his father as well, who also got us up and running with all the equipment. So with that, anything else? Any last words? Words?
Ooh.
I'm
We're gonna say words.
slurring.
Words are getting hard to come by. I think just, I don't know if thank you is the right word, but just an appreciation for all of our coaches.
Yep.
There's so many great coaches across the state that put so much time and energy into their own teams. I think it's such a healthy, respectful competition for others, even if it's a rivalry, whatever, 2-3 teams. I think that's awesome, especially with the sports landscape changing. I've been reffing basketball the last couple weeks, and just the way, just flat out honest, coaches are just screaming at kids like 3rd, 4th graders. And if you think that's a way for them to enjoy the sport and want to continue, UC basketball numbers are probably down across the board on the girls' side. But just across the season, the coaches we have across the state, we're pretty lucky.
It's well said. And I'll just, my last bit of advice, or not advice, my last comments would be what I've learned from cross country. I'm not a big cross country guy, more of a track and field, but I've grown to love doing this and following the sport. And with the best thing that I see every year in this sport is exactly what Coach said tonight. A middle schooler going from 77th to scoring for their team to win a state title. Kids going from hundredths in races to 20th in 1 year. And the greatest thing about this sport is hard work, and your dedication to getting better can take you from one level to the next in a matter of months. And it's the greatest thing to follow, and it's the greatest thing to coach when we're coaching it. So I'll leave you with that. Those that are listening, have a great off-season. Those athletes that are listening, have a great off-season. Stay healthy, train smart, but also get after it. And let's keep raising the bar in the state of Iowa for distance running and also for track and field. And have a great spring and a happy holidays. Good? All
Good.
right.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll talk to you soon. And for the last time, let's shut the light off here.
Oh.
Look at this thing. It's almost out of light. There it is. All right. We'll see you next August. Have a great year.